We're jumping right into the wild world of GCC mega projects. And let me tell you, this isn't just about pouring concrete. It's more like a high-stakes game with a playbook that is, well, pretty brutal.
I mean, the sheer scale of what's happening here is almost impossible to wrap your head around. You've got entire cities, these insane futuristic resorts, all of it just rising up from the sand. And they're doing it on a timeline that would be considered a joke anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, these aren't just buildings. They're massive national statements. It's all part of this huge push to pivot their economies away from oil, to build these incredible landmarks for the 21st century. But, and this is a big but, with that kind of ambition comes an absolutely staggering amount of risk.
And that really gets us to the heart of the matter. Because behind all those shiny glass facades, the reality is a crazy high rate of conflict, delays, and just financial chaos. So what is really going on here?
Okay, so to really get a grip on this, you gotta understand the two giants who are basically shaping the entire landscape. Right now, you're seeing two totally different philosophies at play, and it's all being driven by the region's biggest players.
So, in one corner, you've got Qatar. They've just gone through this massive building boom for the World Cup, right? So now their whole focus is on optimizing and managing all these incredible assets they've built. And then, in the other corner, you have Saudi Arabia, which is in what you can only describe as full-on terraforming mode. I mean, with their Vision 2030 giga-projects, they are literally building new worlds from the ground up. So you've got two very different game plans, but here's the kicker. They both share the exact same set of massive risks.
And this is where things get really serious. If you're a contractor looking to get into this market, you have to understand the data. The numbers paint this incredible picture. It's like you're a pilot flying a ridiculously expensive plane at top speed straight into a wall of fog. Just look at this number, an 80.9% time extension. Let's put that in perspective. A project that's supposed to take 1 year will, on average, actually take almost 2. We're not talking about a small delay here. This is a complete breakdown of the original plan, the original budget, everything.
So what's behind all this chaos? Where's the breakdown happening? Well, the number one culprit by a long shot is scope change. It accounts for over half of all disputes. We're talking 52.9%. And what is that? It's basically when the client decides to change the plan right in the middle of construction. It's the single biggest cause of conflict in the entire region, period.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Think about it. The data we just looked at, that's your radar. It's screaming at you that there's a nearly 50% chance of hitting design turbulence, problems with the original plans, and an even higher chance that your final destination is going to change mid-flight. Flying blind in this environment, it's just not an option.
So on top of all those on-the-ground challenges, the contracts themselves are basically minefields. They're filled with these hidden legal traps. And we're not just talking about some boring fine print here. These are clauses that can absolutely cripple a contractor financially if they're not prepared.
Okay, this one right here, this is one of the absolute most dangerous traps. A time bar is exactly what it sounds like. A ticking clock. If something goes wrong on site, you have a super short, super strict window. We're talking sometimes just 28 days to officially file your claim. And if you miss that deadline, it doesn't matter how right you are, your claim is gone. Poof, forever.
Here's another classic trap. It's all about what's hiding underground. Imagine this. You start digging and bam, you hit a massive layer of rock that nobody knew was there. It's going to cost you millions to remove. Well, a sufficiency of price clause basically says, that's your problem. The argument is that your original price should have covered any and all possibilities, so you're completely blocked from claiming those extra, unexpected costs.
But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. The law isn't always stacked against the contractor. There are some legal principles that are so important you actually can't sign them away in a contract. Take decennial liability. That's a mandatory 10-year warranty on the building's structural integrity. No getting out of that. And then there's the principle of good faith, which just means both sides have to act fairly. These things are hardwired right into the civil code.
So you're looking at all these risks and you're thinking, how on earth does anyone survive this? Well, the successful contractors, they have a playbook, a set of cockpit instruments, if you will, that they use to fly through the fog. Let's take a look at the two most important ones.
Think of this as your essential pre-flight checklist for any kind of claim. It's a really strict 5-step formula. 1, you identify what happened, the trigger event. 2, you find where it connects to your contract. 3, you make sure you get your notice in on time. 4, you forecast the impact it's going to have. And 5, you formally reserve your rights to make a claim. You miss even one of those steps, and your whole claim can be thrown out.
Okay, so if the notice formula is your checklist, this is your high-tech navigation system. A time impact analysis, or TIA, is the gold standard. It's how you prove exactly how one specific delay is going to impact the final completion date. It's this forensic method where you plug the delay into the project schedule and it calculates all the ripple effects with incredible precision.
But here's a really crucial point. All these tools, all these rules, they don't work the same way everywhere. The legal airspace, so to speak, changes dramatically depending on which country you're in, and sometimes even between different free zones inside the same city.
So this table kind of breaks it down for us. It shows you just how different things can be. For example, in Qatar, the courts put limits on those pay-when-paid clauses, so you can't just be left hanging forever. But in Dubai's International Financial Center, the DIFC, they enforce that 28-day notice period with absolutely zero wiggle room. Then you go to Saudi Arabia, and the courts there can actually step in and rebalance a contract if things get totally unfair for one side. You have to know these local rules. It's non-negotiable.
So there you have it. That's the landscape. On one hand, you've got ambition and innovation on a scale we've never seen before. And on the other, you have these massive, complicated risks. And yeah, contractors have a playbook to try and navigate it all. But it really leaves us with one big question. In a world of these giga projects, where the stakes are just so incredibly high, can a playbook ever